Boss, a 2-0 win here at Telford tonight. What did you make of the evening?
Well, I think it was really very well worthwhile. We had a lot of problems to try and deal with, and that's great because we need to have some problems at this time of the year to help the guys get up to speed. So I thought that Telford were excellent, and particularly when they played on the counter attack very very well, and caused us a lot of problems. But then we managed to get to grips with the game somewhat, and we start to create more chances later on in the game. So I'm happy overall, but still I can see there's some work to be done for us to improve.
Anything overly concerning at this stage for you?
No, not overly concerning, because I'm aware that we have to move players around, and some guys playing in positions not exactly the positions that they're used to playing, but because we have to make sure we monitor everybody's minutes so that we don't push people too hard too early and so on. So no, it's okay. Some of the young guys on the pitch is brilliant. I love to see the young guys on the pitch, and they've done great, and more minutes for them, more experience for them. So overall very good day.
The 2 goals we did score came from Jody Jones' crosses. He was playing in that left wing back slot tonight. He looked sharp tonight.
Yeah, Jody's an exceptional player, and he's come back very very well, and I'm really happy to see him deliver crosses from the left, because his left foot is such a great tool, and I know that Jody can go in the pitch and he can dribble so brilliantly and create things in that way, but is really, I think when he has that quality to deliver balls into the 6-yard box with the quality, accuracy and the power, so that was brilliant to see that.
Dan Crowley scoring a header. I don't know how many of those we can expect to see over the course of the season, but it was nice to see him score his first for Notts, I suppose. He looks constant threat all game as well. Yeah,
it was a big highlight for me, because I know that Dan Crowley will score superb goals where we remember because he beat players and score from a long range and things like this, but a lot of goals, the majority scored from inside that 6-yard box, and to see Dan Crowley have the bravery to go into the position where you can miss from close range and be brave enough to head the ball in, that was a big highlight for me.
And Richard Brindley getting on the score sheet in a solid performance at that right centre-back slot for him.
Yeah, he connected with the ball so brilliantly, and I think really he was unlucky last season. He didn't score a couple of those because he had a few attempts. He hit the ball so brilliantly well, but yeah, tonight went in, so that was a nice bonus for Brins, I think.
2 players that won't be able to believe they haven't scored. Probably the first one I'll mention more so than the other, Macaulay Langstaff and David McGoldrick. A couple which just flashed wide of the post, one off the underside of the bar, and Mako with 2 goals, which I'm sure you've berated him for not scoring tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was unusual to see Maka in those positions and for the ball not to go across the line, but even a player of Maka's quality is gonna miss from time to time, but it's great that he's there. It's great that he's still getting the supply that he needs. And David, I think it's hard to believe he's not going to score a number of those type of goals. So we have no doubt of his quality, and just probably the few cobwebs from the off season, and also probably some fatigue as well with the amount of running that the guys are doing. So yeah, it's very exciting to see him go inside and hit the ball like that.
Yeah, it should be said, shouldn't it, that today we trained this morning as well. Can you just explain to the fans what goes on in a session like that the morning of a game?
Yeah, this time of year is really very much about conditioning, getting the guys the correct level of conditioning they need to sustain them over a long season, and this is where we get our base from. So ordinarily, of course, the players would be fresh going into a game, but this time of year we're topping up their conditioning and also topping up their understanding of the tactical stuff. So we train this morning, not ridiculously hard, but of course he's still taking it out of their legs, and then they come here a bit fatigued from the week and a bit fatigued from this morning, but it's all done deliberately because we need to get them into the right place for the league.
Handful of players not here tonight. Let's start with the more recent ones. Toby Adebayo rolling?
Yeah, Toby, no problem, so we have no concerns, but when he felt some tightness, we said it's not worth risking him make it a worse injury. So it's a very minor thing, and we expect him to be on the grass again on Friday.
Connell?
Very similar. Connor wanted to train fully yesterday and he wanted to be involved today, but I needed to take him out because I didn't like some of the way he was moving. But Connor was, as you know, he's a warrior, so he would just run through it and not worry about the pain. But it's not worth it for this time of year for him to go through that pain barrier, so I took him out, but he will be fine.
Aaron and Main?
Similar. Aaron repeating the amount of times he hits the ball in training, and then he felt a tightness, but it's something that we know well with Aaron. We know how his body is, and as soon as he feels the beginning of something, we remove him from training and from the friendly, but we've got no problem with that one either.
And it's to be expected, I suppose, given the amount of workload, and it's not too big an issue with 3 friendlies still left to get in before the season starts.
Yeah, of course, the big injuries, we are very, very disappointed with when people tear a muscle or something like this, but when guys are picking up some fatigue, really if we didn't push them really, really hard this time of year, we're doing something wrong. So we have no problem with these minor things, and we withdraw the players in the right time.
On to the lads that we've been missing for a little while now. Aidan Baldwin?
Aidan is recovering really well from his injury, but he's going to need a bit longer, and he's on track and everything is going according to plan. So he's now on the grass running on the training pitch. So the next stage will be to be joining in training.
Junie Marias?
He's a very similar case with Aidan as well. That both guys have done the beginning of the rehabilitation inside the gym and on the treatment bed, but now more time on the grass, and they'll be with the squad touching the footballs again.
Any chance we'll see them in pre-season, or do you think that the friendlies will come too soon?
Yeah, I think it could be difficult for pre-season, possibly some minutes right at the end, but we're planning without. So.
Okay. Sam Slocum was out there today warming up. How's he getting on?
Yeah, again, Sam is doing well because he's out the treatment room and on the grass, and he's with the goalkeepers, but some of the actions he can't do yet because it's too much of a risk. But great for him to be back on the grass, and soon he'll be throwing himself around in training again and be back ready to play.
3 friendlies left then, starting with Boston at the weekend. Is it fair to say we're in the business end of pre-season, if there is one of those? Is your mindset shifting at all, given the proximity of the season now?
Yeah, I think one more game and then we say we're in the more business end. So we have one more game where we try to give the players the right amount of minutes that they need for everybody to be on the same level. And then really we start to give more players like 90 minutes football so that they can be completely ready and maybe start to shape the team more. And of course when players can play 90 minutes, we need like less players. So I think that probably the last 2 games will give us a chance to feel like we're completely ready for Sutton.
Just generally to finish, at this stage of pre-season, how do you feel personally as the head coach?
Yeah, you always want more things to be perfect, but anxious at the moment because we know we have to go into a new division. We don't know the level together. We haven't done this together yet, and we don't know the teams other than Wrexham. So yeah, some anxiety there because we need to see how we're going to be able to perform at the level, but we're optimistic and we're happy with a lot of the guys, the way that they're training and the level they're getting to.